I have another story to tell. This one dates back to when I was 13 or 14. I think it's a pretty funny story, and it shows some resilience and me pushing past boundaries, which is something I'm only just realizing now, even though this happened a long time ago. There's a quarry near my house where I grew up, and my brother, my dad, and I, and one of my brother's friends, I can't remember who, decided to go to the quarry and jump off the cliffs. We'd known about this quarry for a while, we'd just never gone and jumped off the cliffs into the water. There's water, don't worry. So we get there, and as I've stated previously, I am afraid of heights. So I'm looking at all these cliffs, all these ledges, and thinking, there's no way in hell I'm jumping off these. That's crazy. They're huge. But my brother and my dad kept encouraging me to try. So I jumped off one ledge that was maybe 5 feet, wasn't too bad. Then I think there was another ledge roughly 10 or 15 feet, somewhere in there, jumped off that, not too bad. Unfortunately, the next easily accessible ledge was roughly 40 feet. That scared the shit out of me. But I decided to do it anyways. I don't know what got into me that day, but something in my little heart said, just try it. Just see what happens. Lo and behold, little old me, I took flight and I soared off that cliff. And instead of landing and kind of tucking a little bit, I decided to keep my arms straight out for some reason. And slap! Oh man, that fucking hurt. I swam to shore, looked at my arms, they're all red, tender, but I decided to do it again. And I wasn't going to let my arms stay out this time. So I went back up, jumped off that cliff, straight out. Slap! More red, more tender, a lot of pain, but I was resilient. God damn it, I'm gonna do it. So I went up a third time, and I thought to myself, I can do this. Tuck, tuck. Bring your arms in, something other than this. Jumped off, same thing. 3 times. Now usually people say 3 times a charm. Not this time. I was going for 4. Went back up, 4th time, prepared myself, really figured I was gonna get the tuck this time. Ran out, jumped off, soaring through the air, smack! 4 times. I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't just get my brain to stop throwing my arms out. God, were my arms red and tender as hell. And then a nice bruising for, a week or so. It's funny that I even did that because this quarry has some rumors. There's supposed to be unfound dead bodies still in the quarry because people got drunk, fell off, and just their bodies were never found. And so not only am I doing something terrifying, which is jumping off of heights, I'm doing it into a stagnant pool of water. It's very deep, granted, but a stagnant pool of water where there might be dead bodies. And as like a 13, 14-year-old, that's kind of creepy. Now I think about it and I'm like, there's probably no way in hell there's bodies in there. But, when I was younger, I didn't know. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. Who knows? It's funny, though, that it took me 15 years to realize that in that moment, I conquered fears, which was pretty great. And it was pretty funny because each time I slapped my arms, it was apparently very loud. I could barely hear it because it would happen just so quickly. But my brother and my dad said that you could hear it echoing around the quarry. They were laughing really hard. I was laughing too because I've always been a stoic. Anyways, that story has nothing really to do with what has been on my mind. Yesterday I had a great visit with an amazing friend of mine, and it helped remind me that having really solid people in your life is essential. Now, I don't necessarily think it has to be a certain number. Obviously, that varies. That depends on the person. For me, I like to have a small group of really close friends. And then, there's obviously more people around me that I socialize with and I love very much, but just it's not as personal. And these people who are in my close-knit group have helped me through some of the hardest times of my life. Now, I talked a little bit about deconstructing my faith, my Christian faith, And something I haven't mentioned is that over the past year, I've been going through a separation and a divorce. And so that's been very difficult as well. These people, I genuinely believe having these people in my life is the reason I'm still alive. And if not still alive, still sane. Because these people stood around me and loved me and held me when I was broken so that I could eventually come back stronger. But it took time, and it took having those people constantly around me to love me and support me and help me. You know, it reminds me of an African word, Ubuntu. The word Ubuntu, roughly translated, means a person is a person through other persons. Essentially, what they're talking about is that you are who you are because of other people. That can sometimes be negative, and that can sometimes be positive. But the older we get, the more we have the ability to control whether that is a positive thing or not, whether we have positive people in our lives to keep us going in a positive direction. So there's two examples of Ubuntu that I've heard of. One is an anthropologist was with an African tribe. He had some children that he was working with, and he put a fruit basket by a tree and said, whoever gets to the fruit basket first gets to keep all the fruit. And the children grabbed each other's hands and they all ran together to that fruit basket. And the anthropologist asked why they did that. And they said, I am because we are. Now that's a profound statement. I am because we are. Just let that sink in for a second. The other example I've heard of Ubuntu, and this is one that's stuck with me for a long time. At one point I had read that there was a tribe, I don't remember the details, in Africa, and they practice Ubuntu, which is this coming together to love and support one another and build each other up. They exemplified Ubuntu by when one individual in the tribe made a mistake, they would put that individual in the middle of the tribe, have everyone else surround them. Then the tribe proceed to tell the individual who made the mistake all of the good things that they had done. And this would go on for 1 or 2 days from what I read. Again, this is a phenomenal example of how human beings need to have each other. We need to surround ourselves with people who build us up, who bring us up, who lift us up, because ultimately you can't do it alone. You can try and you can probably make it quite far. And obviously there are exceptions to the rule, but by and large, surrounding yourself with people who will love you, care about you, support you, and build you up, this is the way. And on a final note, when you have the capacity to be someone like that for someone else, and if you get that opportunity, take it. It's an amazing experience to love, support, build up someone. There's nothing like it. And as someone who has received that kind of love and given that kind of love, I want to see more of that in this world for sure. So thank you for tuning in for day 13. I did that right. Took me a couple tries. And we'll see you again tomorrow for day 14.